Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today's video I'm going to specifically focus talking on one transfer obviously involving Celtic. One transfer that picks up from the last video I made, that video talking about Stuart Armstrong and Dedrick Boyata, and obviously by the title of the video and just by how the last week has went, I'm sure you can assume what I'm talking about, and that is the transfer news that Stuart Armstrong is off. He'll be leaving Celtic. We were talking about it in the last video. It's been everywhere now. It's been over Twitter, it's been over the news, it's been in the papers. It looks pretty much set in stone that Stuart Armstrong will be leaving Celtic in the coming days, and it's actually in the news that he might be getting his medical this Wednesday to join Southampton for a fee of £7 million. In this video I'm just going to kind of give my reaction to the transfer in general, how it affects Celtic, how we go on moving forward without Stuart Armstrong, and my kind of reaction to him overall just leaving the club, which I kind of want to start with because I feel like he's going to get a lot of negative kind of stick. He's going to get a lot of stick for leaving Celtic, and I can understand where some of the stick comes from, in a sense where, why would you want to leave Celtic for a club who almost were relegated next season, who don't have European football, this, that and the next thing? I can understand that. They aren't the greatest team, and especially after last season they are in a real bad position. Why would you want to leave a team that's playing European football with much more passionate fans, a better atmosphere, etc, winning stuff, for Southampton? I feel like a lot of people are going to give him stick for it. Like, he's never wanted to be at the club. And yes, I said it in the last video, it doesn't seem like he does want to be at Celtic, but one thing I want to get off my chest straight away is I'm grateful for everything Stuart Armstrong has given the club over the past 3 or 4 seasons. He has been a fantastic player, one of the most entertaining players in the park at points to watch. I've really enjoyed having him at Celtic. He's been really, really good. A player who I really did like, and I would like to see stay longer, but obviously his head has moved on. He wants to move on from Celtic, and he has every right to make that decision. It's his career, and he gets to choose what he wants to do. But I'm grateful for what he's given Celtic over the past few seasons, especially in that Invincible season. He was really great to watch, a fantastic player, one of the most creative players in the team, really was a spark at points. And he got us one of the goals in the Scottish Cup final as well, so got to remember that. He was a fantastic player, but he is off now, and I don't feel like we should be negative towards him. People on Twitter say, he's a scumbag, he's a dick, he never wanted to be here anyway, just get rid of him. I don't feel like he deserves that. I feel like he deserves the praise and credit that he, you know, has earned over the past few seasons at Celtic. But he is away. We look to be bringing in now £7 million, which is a lot more than I actually expected for Stuart Armstrong. I didn't think it'd get as high as that, and quite rightfully so. I think he is worth it, but I just didn't think we'd get it. If anything, in this transfer market, I mean, you look at other central midfielders who I wouldn't say are worth anything, the price they're going. I'd think Stuart Armstrong, if he was playing for an English club at that same kind of level as he was for Celtic, he'd easily be going for £15 million. But obviously, as Celtic, we're only going to get £7 million. But £7 million is a fee we can't argue with. We can't knock it back. For a man who only has a year left on his contract, that is a massive bonus to Celtic. Maybe if he had another 3 or 4 years on that contract, yes, we could have maybe reached £15 million out it somehow. But he only has 1 year left, so it's basically take what we're offered. And I don't think we have any right to knock that amount of money back for a man with 1 year on his contract. He was going to be leaving at the end of the season, and it's better bringing in £7 million than absolutely nothing at all, because now this £7 million can go into reinvestment, and it's especially good because I feel like now that we've spent £9 million on Odsonne Edouard, I feel like Peter Law has kind of taken the fear a wee bit as to spending more. He's like, right, what did I spend big? I don't want to use any more money. But now that we're bringing in £7 million, surely that should be getting used for reinvestment in the squad, because we are losing a quality player. My reaction to the transfer in general is we're losing a player who has got sufficient amounts of quality. He can be fantastic, and he can be the best player on the park when he turns up. When he plays his absolute best, he can easily be the best player on the park for Celtic. And now he's leaving, so we need to replace him. We do have a lot of players in the depth in that area of the field. We do have a lot of depth there. We do. Callum McGregor this season came on to be a better player, I'd say. I think Armstrong really did fall down the pecking order over the past year, and maybe that's why a lot of people aren't so bothered about him leaving, and probably why I'm not as bothered as what I'd have been this time last year, because he just wasn't as great this season. But we've got all these centre mids. We've got Brown, we've got Ncham, we've got Abui, we've got McGregor. We've got all these players who can play in the central midfield position, but I still feel like we should improve, and we've got £7 million there to easily go and look at other players. The first name coming to my mind is obviously going to be John McGinn. I've spoken about that time and time again, but we can look at more advanced options. We can look into other countries, other leagues, and bring someone in. The money is there and should be used for reinvestment. We are losing a good player, and I hope Peter Law and the board do recognise that and decide to recompensate by bringing in someone else, because the money is there. £7 million a lot, and we're getting it all. It's not like, well, it's not like, you know, it's gone elsewhere. It's coming all to us, and we've made profit. We signed him for £2 million. So even if we were to put £2 million behind us, that gives us £5 million to spend from this transfer, which gives us more than enough to go and get someone that is our level, that is going to play in our league, that wants to come to Celtic, because ultimately, you know, people want to play in the Premier League and such, and don't necessarily want to come to Scotland. But when the money is there, moving on, that's what we need to do now. We need to improve that gap now that Stuart Armstrong will be leaving. He's going on £40,000 a week. It's a transfer, it's an offer he couldn't refuse, first of all, because I mean at Celtic he was probably on about 20,000 max at Celtic. So he's getting his wages doubled by heading down to Southampton. I just hope the guy has a good season down there and really does show that we're not a tin pot league and all the players just play because of this, that, and next thing. Look, Van Dijk's went down, Forster's went down, Wanyama's went down. They've all made a fantastic name for themselves. They've all done incredibly well individually in their careers. And I think Stuart Armstrong can hopefully be the next. All three of them went to Southampton. Now look at Van Dijk, most expensive defender of all time. Wanyama went to Tottenham. He's still playing for Tottenham. He's getting games. He plays well. Good big player. Forster kind of fell out of favour a little bit because of injuries and such, but you know, still a big keeper. He was getting a lot of good praise when he first went to Southampton. They've all done really well, and hopefully Armstrong continues that, and I have full faith that he will. But the main thing now is moving on from Armstrong. We need to improve as a team. We can't go backwards, we need to move forwards. We can't lose a player and do nothing. I don't want that to happen. Ultimately, I'd be disappointed if we don't now go and spend or reuse that money in some way. I'd be disappointed if it just goes into the back of the board and sits there and, you know, just lies, doing nothing. I don't want that to happen. I want the board to recognise that we need to move forward from losing a player of Stuart Armstrong's quality, because that's what he had, a lot of quality at the end of the day. I can't really say much else because it's all there, it's set in stone. You know that it's probably going to happen. Granted that he passes his medical, and he should pass his medical. He is fit at the minute, so it looks as though it will be going through. It's not officially confirmed, but we're basically there. My reaction, best of luck to him. Really enjoyed having him at Celtic, but it was time for him to move on. I think he knew that. We all knew that over the past year, and he always wanted to go after that. I think that season just there, that's the only reason he said the contract was so little. And we've spoken about that time and time again. Ultimately, he did want to move on, and I think it's only right we let him do that. It's his career, his choice. But I'd be disappointed if the board do not recompensate and decide to get the hand out the pocket. Stop being so tight-fisted and get money spent. We've already spent big this summer. Don't end it there. There has been rumours and such about even Patrick Roberts coming back to Celtic. Look, we've got tons of money now. We have. We're falling at it. Rangers fans are raging at it on Twitter and everything, but we've got money. Utilise it. Use it to our advantage. We need to move forward in Europe, and we need players in that area of the park is one of the most important. We need to improve there. Let me know your opinions towards the Stuart Armstrong transfer. If you've enjoyed, like and subscribe. I'll see y'all next time.